Retail sales, they can be really uncomfortable for a lot of hair and beauty professionals. But luckily, we've got Paul Carbis from Carbis Business Management with us here today, who is an expert in retail sales. And he's going to tell us some tips that he has for helping us to get comfortable selling retail. Welcome, Paul.
Good morning. Greetings from Bali. I'm actually sitting in the offices of Savvy Style Marketing here in Bali. And it's a balmy 30 degrees outside, so I hope those in New Zealand are really envious.
We are, absolutely. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your Bali trip to share some tips and advice for us to help us sell retail. Can you tell us a little bit about why people are so uncomfortable with this topic and doing it?
Well, I don't think selling anything is a natural part of our lives. We love to communicate, but selling in Western culture is a bit like pushing things onto other people. And I think especially in the beauty industry, where some of the products can be quite expensive, hundreds of dollars, many, especially younger staff, find that difficult to do when they are thinking, I can't actually afford this myself. How do I tell someone else to buy it? You look at the hair industry and you've got things like GHDs and other hair accessories that can be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And so to be recommending those to people can be quite daunting, especially for younger staff. I think it's a cultural thing more than anything else, but it's something we need to get over, and for lots of different reasons. And the sooner you realize that it's not such a terrible thing, the easier it becomes. It's like anything else you do in life, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. And for me personally, as a beauty therapist, it becomes a regular part of what I do every single day that I'm going to sell them. And the way I look at it is maybe a little bit different to what the average person does.
What's the difference?
Okay, so for me, the only way I can get a result on someone's skin is for them to see me on a regular basis and for them to do what I tell them with what I give them exactly how I show them at home. Let me give you an example. If you came and saw me every 3 weeks and you were to use the product that I give you at home morning and night, you would do 42 home care treatments in the time that you saw me again. So you almost have to say that it's as important, if not maybe more important, than the actual coming to see me, because it's what changes the skin every single day.
Right, it's the home care.
The same could be said for shampoos and conditioners, or for hair masks, or for, you get the idea? And so
Absolutely.
whilst you might only go to your hairdresser every 4 to 6 weeks, what you're doing at home can actually change the condition of your hair, just like skincare does with skincare. So for me, it's like the only way I can get a result. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be skin. It could be if you suffer from ingrown hairs and I'm waxing your legs and notice them, it's an easy fix if you do the right things at home. If it doesn't matter what you do on your body, the amount of therapists that see problems with nails that could be strengthened, or that had a fungal infection, or that had whatever, the same things. By doing something regularly at home, we can fix the problem. So it doesn't really matter what the issue is. We've got solutions if we're willing to show our customers what they are. Now, the bit that I see that makes it easy, every single woman I've ever met has got stuff. Janelle, you've got stuff. I know you have, because I've sold you stuff. But They've got stuff. Think about your mother, your sister, your girlfriend, your daughter. They've all got stuff. So the question isn't, do women buy it? And more so men as well. The question isn't, do they buy it? The real question is, why the hell aren't they buying it from me? That's what the real question is. Now, for me, in the salons I work in, they have product that I know works. The formulations are salon formulations. They have active ingredient and they work. A lot of the things that are bought from pharmacy or supermarkets or even department stores, there's no professional help when you go and buy them. The people who are selling in those situations aren't fully trained, like a beauty therapist or a professional hairdresser. And so therefore they're not as active. They're not going to get the results the same as what would happen from a professional beauty therapist or hairdresser. So as what we need to do is change the culture so that our clients who are buying stuff are actually buying the right stuff and getting the right sort of advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have people every day of the week come to me with a bag full of products, and most of it's rubbish. And in some cases, it's actually doing harm to the skin, not fixing it. And the minute we put them onto a product that's active, that actually will work, something as simple as a hyaluronic acid for hydration, within days, their skin starts to change and they notice, and then they're sold for, that's it. They'll never go back. You can attest to that. So it's a really, once you get on the roller coaster of knowing that what you're selling works, it's going to be good for people.
Right.
It's not then about price. It's not then about pushing things. You've got to keep in the back of your head. Think about your mother, your sister, your best friend. They've all got a lip gloss. They've all got a cleanser. They've all got makeup. They've all got moisturisers. Half of them have got hand cream sitting there that aren't being. There's stuff. I mean, Julie, my partner, has got stuff. She's got a cupboard full of stuff. She's got a handbag with stuff in it. She's got a second handbag at the bottom of the cupboard with stuff. There's stuff in the glove box of her car.
Yeah.
And she's not unusual. You're smiling because you're in the same boat. You've got stuff.
So, yes.
So why are we so scared to sell it?
That's a great question. And I have, purchased a lot of retail from you. Just a quick story of how I met Paul. I went to House of Beauty for a skin consult. And I had never invested in proper skincare before.
Look how beautiful you look now.
I went there to sort of scope it out, get a bit of an idea, and I left with an armful of products. And I was thinking to myself, what makes Paul so great at selling, successfully selling me so much retail? And it started with a really fantastic consultation. You really took the time to get to know what my pain points were, what issues I was having. You did a proper consultation where you actually looked at my skin and pointed out some things, and then you prescribed me a simple solution, and you explained why. You educated me at the same time of what needed to happen in order to get my skin from where it was, which was full of pimples and all sorts, to getting it clear and fantastic and smooth. And because of that, by knowing that you really had taken the time to do a personalized consultation, I felt like I could safely buy those products and feel like I could go home knowing that they were actually going to make a difference to my skin. And they did, because I trusted that. And I really think that asking the right questions from the outset to really get to know people's pain points at the beginning enables you to really prescribe what they need in order to get the results they're after as well. So I just wanted to say that was one thing that really stood out to me, and also now I just go back for more each time because I know I'm going to get the results and I know that they're personalized to me. So how do people get the confidence to do that? Does it come down to training?
Yeah, look, the other part about that is how long have those products, these professional products, lasted you?
A long time.
So they may have had an initial cost, but they've actually been really good value for money.
Yeah,
and that's the same in no matter what brand in salon products, you'll always find that's the case. So again, don't worry about the cost. I've got two mantras, I guess. The first one is, the less I worry about the money and the more I worry about skin. It's a funny thing, the more money I seem to make. And it's true. The more I concentrate on helping people with their skin and giving them the correct solution, I think people see through when you're trying to sell. And the second sort of mantra, if you like, is I don't actually sell anything. What I do is I educate people to a point where they can make an informed decision. Now, one of the things I find interesting is when people say no, they're not actually saying no to me. And they're not saying, Paul, I don't like you. They're saying no to the idea. And it could be because they just purchased a new pair of shoes and financially, or that they need to check in and what's happening at home, or that they don't get paid till next week, or that whatever the reason. Some people's, the way they think is that they need to have things repeated to them several times before they can make decisions. That's fine. They're not actually saying, Paul, no, I don't like you, I don't want to buy from you. They're saying no to the concept of buying right now. It's not a personal affront, so you don't need to get upset about it. And half of those people will come back during the week and do exactly what you asked them to do in the first place. They've had time to think it through, they've looked at their finances, they've done whatever it is that they needed to work through to make the informed decision, yes, I want to do what he said. And that's cool. I think a lot of, especially younger staff, worry that when people go no, that they're taking it personally, like it's an affront to them. And you don't need to do that. It's not. And many people need to hear the same information several times before that they can take that on. Lots of people, their purchasing is that they go to the same place. They've bought the same products for many, many years. And so the concept of change even is something that they need to work through in their head. And so if you're one of those people and I say to you, no, I need you to go on to this, I might need to repeat that several times before it actually changes your ideas. People learn in different ways. And so saying no doesn't mean that they're saying no, full stop, end of sentence, never going to. It's just no right now for whatever reason. When we get that through our head, then the idea of getting a rejection every now and again isn't personal.
And also, I just want to say that when you switch that focus from selling to helping, then them saying no really is, you're just doing your best to prescribe them something that they're a concern that they have. Them saying no, as you said, isn't an attack on you, but it's just them saying not right now, or they're not ready, or they don't see the value quite yet. But then they can go home and think about it some more. And then if that pain point gets larger, they might turn around and say, oh, actually, I will take you up on that offer and give that a go.
I mean, if I remember back even to your skin, I said to you that eventually we would need to be on both vitamin C and vitamin A. But you can't have it yet. And so because both of those are acids and you weren't hydrated enough, I said that there's a schedule for purchasing those things. It's that in itself means that I care about how your skin's going to react. I care about your progress. I care that this is a long-term relationship. not just I'm trying to get money off you today. And I think when that comes across, then people feel a lot more comfortable about purchasing what your recommendations are.
Yeah, very true, because they know that you care about them and it's not just to get that sale that day.
There's another factor as well that people have to understand in our industry. It's part of the job. And it's part of the job because it's how we get results. If you're a hairdresser and you're allowing your customers to buy rubbish, what you just did on their hair is not going to hold. The condition of the hair is not going to be maintained. And they're not going to see the value in what you just did. The same thing with the skin. If I allow you to walk out and buy rubbish and use that on your skin, you're not going to see the results that I'm trying to achieve in the treatments.
Very true.
And you're therefore not going to see the value in the treatments either. So it's part of your job. Now, people sort of look at me weird about this, but if I employ a beauty therapist, they get a contract, and part of that contract says that providing advice on retail products for home is part of your job. Imagine, if I said you owned a salon and I said, I'm a really good therapist. I want the job that you're advertising, but I don't clean. How many salon owners would go, yeah, okay? I mean, no one would. It's part of the job. If I said, I want the job, but I don't wax or do eyes, I'd never get a job because it's part of the job. So why is it that week after week after week after week, we've got so many therapists right throughout New Zealand who are actually saying to their boss in their KPIs, in their sales figures, I'm a really good therapist. I love working here, but I don't do retail. And that's acceptable? It's not. And so for many ways, what I say to both salon owners and therapists is that if this isn't something that you're comfortable with, if this isn't something that you're good at, it's something you need to learn. And the easiest way to do that is to do your education on your products. And there's a million different ways you can do that. You can pick up product manuals if that's how you learn. You can talk to other staff members. You can do little tests. And all the good salons do all of these things all the time. And they have products that they focus, like a product of the week or a product of the month. And they focus on that, and they know every little thing inside out and back front about it. Now, if you know your stuff, people ask me about certain products or certain ingredients, and the words come out of my mouth without even my brain having to click in. I've been doing it I'm that well rehearsed in it. That I sound like an expert. I don't have to worry about being fearful of, and all of a sudden, education becomes a major part of what I do. It's because I know what I'm talking about. If I understand how the skin is structured and what I'm trying to achieve on it, if I understand how acne works, what causes it, the better educated I am, the better I educate you, the more you believe in what I have to tell you. Therefore, the solution requires both in-salon treatments and you doing at home what I tell you to do. Again, it boils down to education, not selling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Paul, for all those insights. And I'm just wondering, what can people do to take their retail sales to the next level and actually become more than comfortable selling retail, because it turns into something different than selling? It becomes a natural part of what they do. What can they do?
I think, first of all, you need to have that expectation that every client I see, there is something for them, no matter what they're in for. Okay? So for me personally, I would ask every beauty therapist who's watching this, and you could do the same for hair, But I think every beauty therapist in the country would agree that every one of their clients should have a cleanser, should have an eye cream, should have a moisturizer, should have a sunscreen, and should have a hydrate. Okay? I challenge every beauty therapist to go to the computer and see how many of their clients have all 5 of those things. Okay? If you're a hairdresser, you could do the same sort of thing. A shampoo, a conditioner, a mask, so they have a decent brush or comb, and maybe a styling product. Now, if they're reasonable things to expect from every customer, then how many of your customers have all 5? So if that's the case, there's always something for you to talk about. It's a simple thing of doing your homework on your customers so that you know 2 things. Do they have it? And how long since they purchased it?
And you can use your software for that really easily.
And Katoomba can give you the answers for both of those things. You have a history that you can look up every single day. It takes a couple of minutes for each client to look up their history, see what they haven't got, or how long since they last purchased it to see if they're due again.
And then is it a matter of asking them, if they haven't purchased any of those things from you, asking them what they're currently using, what they like, what they don't like about what they're using, or their results?
Well, I mean, in many cases, if you're a good therapist, you can see whether or not it's working.
Yeah.
You know? As simple as a cleanser. So many clients that I talk to are using the wrong sort of cleanser. They're using a cream cleanser when they should be using a gel, or they're using, it doesn't really matter. But if you're good at your job, you can look at the skin and you can see that what they're using isn't working. So it's a simple thing of going, okay, take your makeup off with it, but use a proper cleanser for cleaning your skin. And these are really simple things to do. Many clients are using the wrong moisturizer. They're using, it's a simple, once you start looking at the skin properly, you can give them advice. Yeah. Like I said, I can put my hand on my heart and say that 90% of my clients would have all 5 of those things, and many would have many more. But not many therapists in our country, or hairdressers for that, would be able to say the same thing, which means there are opportunities that they're missing out on helping their customers to achieve great skin or hair.
Very, very true. Absolutely. In fact, our industry data tells us that on average, only about 20% of appointments include retail sales.
Okay, so if I was coaching your salon, the KPIs that I would be looking at is in beauty, about a 1 in 3 hit rate. In other words, if you saw 30 customers for the week, you would need to have a minimum of 10 retail sales. Okay? The second KPI is that retail home care products need to make up around about 30% of a beauty therapist's total income for the week, and about 20% of a hairdresser's total income for the week. Right. Okay? Now, how do I know this? I visit about 100 salons a year. This is what a good therapist can achieve. There are no industry standards. There are no industry KPI. This is what I've deemed, okay? But all the salons that I coach, that's the expectation. A 1 in 3 hit rate and about 30% of their total income coming out of home care sales. Now, it's pretty easy then to look at Katoomba or the software and have a look at, am I achieving those 2 figures? Not only can you do it for overall sales, because you've got walk-ins as well, but you should be doing it for appointment sales also. Yeah. And again, you can break that down on Katoomba. So these are pretty easy figures for a salon owner or even a therapist to look at themselves. Do I ask for that immediately? No. I believe in a step-up system where you would give yourself a target of maybe 3 sales a week, and then maybe 5 sales a week, and then maybe $500 a week, and then maybe $600. Do you know what I mean? So that you're stepping up. But in the background, the KPIs need to be 1 and 3 and 30%. For owners, if you're not talking to your staff, don't be scared about talking to staff about their performance in home care selling. You can't tell someone off if they don't know where they're at. They don't know against what standard if they have no idea about where they're at. And I've had very experienced staff who weren't making anything like 30%. But the minute I pointed it out and it became a focus for them, their performance increased quite quickly. So it's not a taboo area that you should be scared of talking about. It's not something, if it makes up 30% of the income of the salon, it's a really important part of what you do. But better still, if it provides your clients with an improvement in their skin or hair,
helps your retention,
then it's absolutely essential. But we do have 2 classes left. So we have the Retail Sales Masterclass that is a full-day event, lunch, beautiful, the whole lot, at the Novotel Ellerslie on the 15th of May.
Yes,
and you can go on to my website, paulcarbis.com, and buy tickets online. And then we have Wellington on the 22nd of May. Now, Wellington's almost sold out, so you need to get on quick. But that's a full day of retail sales. Owners, managers, and staff, even reception staff, should be attending that. And it gives you hundreds and hours of hints and tricks and the background to how we do it, the words we use, the type of people we see, the whole lot. And it's a really great day.
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Paul, for your time today and sharing your tips for helping people to get more comfortable selling retail. And just a reminder of what Paul just said, if you would like to attend his Retail Sales Masterclass, he's got Auckland coming up on the 15th and Wellington on the 22nd of May. They're both on Mondays. If you really want to take your retail sales to the next level and become more than comfortable selling retail, so it's just a natural part of what you do to make sure your clients are getting the best results, then make sure you grab your tickets today and head over to paulcarbis.com to get your tickets now. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Paul. Enjoy your time in Bali, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.